We beat the Saints, so that's all that matters. Now, if we can get one more win in Week 18, I'll consider this a successful season given how everything's going. As long as we beat New Orleans, we'll be fine. Let me let my seat up for the Georgia State people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see y'all see it, man. But look, anyways, we're gonna be talking about Kirk Cousins today. I'm not saying he had this elite game, but he showed me enough. He showed me enough to believe again. And I also want to give Zach some credit because we barely touched the ball in the third, well, really the second half in general. And his play calling didn't change. We were able to go get some points to finish the game. And I honestly believe, and I'm not saying Mike is a bad quarterback, but like his inexperience right there, I don't think he just cleanly finishes that game. Kirk Cousins finished that game for us with that touchdown because that was his last pass of the game. He didn't have to make another pass after that. But anyways, y'all know why we're here. We're finna break down the tape and why I'm believing again, especially when we finna go play another bad team. Like we can get some momentum going into Seattle. We can play with anybody too. Oh yeah. But let's go and get into the tape, y'all. All right, so this is the first one I want to look at. We're running a play action concept. I think really all of these passes are play action, by the way, but we're doing a concept called readout locker. And when you bring up a Shanahan playbook, you'll see, it looks just like this. The only difference is we're running this out of a like triple wing. And so Kyle Pitts will be doing this locker route. So here it is right here. We're going to get that deep out by Mooney, his favorite route to run. Then we're going to get Kyle Pitts on that locker route where it looks like a cross, but it's more of like a square in, and then you're going to have your guys checking in protection and doing all of that. So defensively what we're getting is we're going to be getting a 3 deep, 3 underneath. Okay, so we already know we have our deep thirds right here, and we're going to have our underneath defenders right here as well. This is one of the most common blitzes in the league because everybody loves to play cover 3, okay? And you see it takes shape right here. They're going to be blitzing the safety right here, so he's going to add in right there. Okay, then you're gonna get these guys underneath. And so what I really like about this one is it's just like I finally get to see Mooney doing what he does best. And Kirk is hitting him in stride too. Well, not in stride, but he's hitting him on time because look at this. He's gonna take the handoff, boom. Good fake right there. He gets the top of his drop. I think he kind of feels his pressure right here by Matthew Bergeron giving up this this outside rush, right? So he's gonna step him into that pocket and he's still able to deliver a pass on time. And look at that. 2 people jumped. 96 jumped and Justin Reed jumped. And you see the ball's still there. It's a little bit low, but it's still within his catch radius, and he catches a good pass. Like, I know Mike can do this, but, Kirk was doing it Sunday, and we get an explosive off of this, and I like it. Okay, this is the next play I want to look at. I really like the design here because we're going to be playing into our tendencies, but we're going to be, doing something completely different, which we haven't seen from Zach, okay? We're going to be motioning over Charlie Warner, and it's going to act as like that escort motion where, we snap the ball like right about here, and he's going to be like a lead blocker, but he's going to stay in and protect, okay? We're going to get Kyle Pitts, acting like he's blocking, and he's going to get out onto a wheel route or rail route. People call it different things. Also, Darnell Mooney's gonna be running a post, so we already got the post wheel action going. Okay, I don't know why this is in the way. Let me move this out the way. There we go. And then the 3-layer part of this is Bijan's gonna be getting the run fake into the flat. So we have our post, we have our wheel, we have our slide, basically, because really the slide would be Charlie Warner because he would just come around like this, and he would be, the immediate flat option if he's there. But we're going to get into it differently because we're going to be doing this Charlie Warner motion. He's going to be going out there with Bijan acting like a lead blocker on a lead swing. Okay, like this is a very good play design. Like, come on, man. Now defensively, what they're doing is I'm not sure the coverage really, but they're going to be dropping out both ends. Okay, they're going to motion or DeMar Davis is going to adjust with this motion, and he's going to be adding to the pressure. Okay, so we have a simulated pressure obviously where all 3 down are going to rush, and then you're going to get an interior rush from Demario Davis. Kool-Aid McKinstry's going to look for work, and then Justin Reed's going to rotate to the middle of the field. This safety's going to run down and play Kyle Pitts. Okay, so I'm thinking it's like a 3 deep, 3 underneath right here because he's also going to take Darnell Mooney all the way out with this post. Okay, so if I had to like make an estimated guess, it was probably this 3 deep, 3 underneath because once again, this is the most common blitz coverage or fire zone you will ever see. And so we watch the play. This is not necessarily just about Kirk either. Like when we get under center and we show these run fakes, y'all, it does things to defenders. Like look at this, y'all. So look, if we see this right, let's look at Jonas Sinker. This is number 33, the safety. Remember, he has Kyle Pitts if he goes out on the route. Okay, so look at this. He reaches, or he goes out there. He tries to reach, this outside linebacker, defensive end, whatever you want to call him. And Jonas Sinkers, he's, oh shit, that's run, because he's also seen this escort motion too. So he's triggering hard downfield. Okay, and let's also look at Kirk's footwork. Okay, look at this. He's gonna set up the throw right here. Boom, right. And what Kirk is seeing, he's seeing this guy. He's flat-footed right here, and Kyle Pitts is going down the boundary. Now, I will say for Kyle, I would have liked it, because what he did was he kind of just, went all the way down the boundary, which, you're supposed to do sometimes. But I would prefer it if he, stays skinny and really gets behind this post. That way he can stack him faster, and Kirk could put a ball, like he could just float it and you could run up under it. Now, granted, he does it regardless, but like he would have had more space to run with it. Okay, that's what I'm saying. But either way, let's look at this. So once again, Jonas Sinkers got flat-footed because he saw the initial block on this defensive end right here, and now he's behind him. Okay, and remember what I said. If he would have gotten skinny and he was running this way, or he's gonna be running that way obviously, but if he was skinnier towards him, I would argue that he's gonna have a whole lot more space to run. Okay, but I'm not complaining about it, because we got a 20-yard game. But it's always the little things that can make a good play go to a touchdown. Okay, because look at that. He's catching them on the sideline. Okay, he's able to get his hands on them, but you see number 33 knocks him out. Okay, but imagine if he were to catch this ball right here. Okay, and he's going to be a little bit further behind, because remember, he stays skinny to him, and there would have been more separation over the top. So it's things like that where it's just it's the small details. But once again, I'm not going to complain about an explosive play. All right, so this is the touchdown pass to David Sills. I really also like this design. Now, initially when I saw this touchdown on the broadcast angle, I thought it was quarters, because like they said on the broadcast, there was a skinny post right here. Okay, I don't know why I stopped writing, but there was a skinny post right here by David Sills, and then Kyle Pitts was on an over route. Okay, and normally with quarters, remember, when in quarters, this safety is responsible for that number 2 receiver. Okay, so he gets taken out the picture, and it opens up this space right here. And so my initial thought was, oh, this is quarters, but it really wasn't. It was a zero blitz. Okay, because what's going on is once again we're gonna get this motion out here by Bijan. Okay, and he's going to pretty much just take a guy out, right? Once again, Kyle Pitts is going to be on this over route, and we're going to get David Sills on that bang 8 skinny post, same route. Okay, just different name. Okay, and on the backside of this, we're going to be getting something just to hold this corner right here, which is Kool-Aid. Pete Warner's going to adjust with this motion and go out and get Bijan man to man, which is going to leave everybody on the island. So every man for himself, basically. Okay, and if you remember, you've been here for a while, people just don't call cover 0 all the time. Okay, that guy, they're expecting him to block sometimes, so they'll just leave this guy in the middle of the field to patrol. Okay, that's one of the adjustments that I like about zero blitz, because you can do it in Madden too, and it works. It's free interceptions. But anyway, let's get to the play. So this is a really good thing that we're getting better in the red zone, because that's one of the main things that make good offenses great. And even though we have not converted on third down, the red zone offense, first it was the red zone offense because we were fine on third down. Now it's the third downs, but we're fine in the red zone. Okay, let's look at this, bro. Look, the motion's gonna drag out Pete Warner. Okay, so now Kirk Cousins is thinking, man, because look at this. He's also creeping up. He's going out there with Bijan. Okay, he's thinking, I probably got man right here. Cool. So look at this. He's gonna look down the middle of the field. Okay, he sees that this safety's running with Kyle Pitts. Okay, so he already knows immediately, hey, I got one-on-one from outside leverage against Alontae Taylor, which is probably going to be open anyways, right? We know it's Alontae Taylor. So David Sills does a good job of attacking down or out his outside shoulder and then bending back inside. It's always the small details. And y'all have been saying, has David Sills really been separated? And I tried to tell y'all, yes, he's really been separating. Zach Robinson wasn't lying, y'all. I'm telling y'all, look at that. Look at that, bro. He's a good route runner. I will give him that. And then look, good job by Kirk standing in there, being a soldier in the pocket, because he was probably going to take a hit if he didn't let this go. But look at that. He throws a very good ball. David Sills gets his first career touchdown. And you see why, he was targeting David Sills all through our training camp, because he's a good receiver. Kirk Cousins knows a good receiver when he sees one, because he played with Justin Jefferson. He played with Jordan Addison. He's played with Drake London. He's played with, who else does he play with? He played with Stephon Diggs? I think he played with Stephon Diggs. He's played with Adam Thielen, okay? He knows what a good receiver looks like. All right, y'all, this is the last play, and this is the touchdown pass to Darnell Mooney from like what, the 49-yard line. So there's a lot going on here. I'm gonna tell y'all, this whole quarters debate too, because a lot of people's like, can you beat quarters over the top? Yes, you can. Okay, but once again, there's going to be a lot of moving parts right here. So defensively, like I said before, we're going to be getting quarters, so everybody's playing relatively soft. Okay, now it is worth noting, I should tell you what we're doing offensively so you can know what's going on. So Kyle Pitts is going to do this. I don't even know what kind of motion this is, but he's going to get in between the tack or the tight ends rather, and he's going to be running this crossing route. Okay, Darnell Mooney's going to be running this skinny post, right? And so we pretty much got Yankee going on. And this is how the quarters rules work, okay? So we already know that this is the way I look at it now. When the corners and the safeties, right, they're essentially playing cover zero, from far off. Because remember, once a route gets past a certain point, you got that man-to-man, okay? And it just depends on the team, because some teams it might be 7 yards, some teams it might be 10 yards, some teams it might be 12 yards, okay? So we already know that these guys are essentially playing man-to-man past a certain point with no safety help, okay? Now, let's count outside the end. So this would be 1. And then on the other side, this would be 1, 2, 3. He's going to motion in and become the new number 2. So guess who's responsible for him? The safety, okay? So he has to go cut that crosser, right? Now, remember, the corner is responsible for number 1 in quarters. And so since this number 1 or the tight end in this situation, he's blocking, what does that open him up to do? That opens him up to look for work. So a lot of people are like, well, you can beat quarters with a skinny post, and that's 100% true. However, defenses have checks for that. So we already know that he's robbing this crosser and his man is blocking. So what does he do? He is supposed to go look for work in the middle of the field to close the post, because this is a middle field open coverage, which means the middle of the field is open. And once again, when you're playing these quarters defenses, there are simple checks to close the middle of the field. Now, for this example right here, let's say these 3 tight ends, they're in a traditional trip set. Okay, so this safety right here, because he's on the backside of this 3x1, because there's 3 receivers right here, he would be the one responsible for closing the post now. Okay, but I'm getting too far deep into it, but you get the point. There are rules to close the post in quarters to not allow you to get beat deep, because this corner does a good job. He's he sees this switch release right here. Basically, he sees his man is blocking. He's gonna fall off and go look for work in the middle of the field, and he gets down there. But you just can't beat a good throw sometimes, y'all. So let's look at this. Okay, we're gonna get this little shuffle motion by Kyle Pitts, and remember, this changes the numbers, because look at this. Now you see, once again, Alontae Taylor's man was blocking. So now I can get zone eyes. I can look for anything across that may be coming over here, okay? And technically something did, but it came skinny, so he had to haul ass and he wasn't on time, okay? And remember, this guy right here, the safety, is responsible for Kyle Pitts on his over route. So he's taking out the picture, okay? And now that leaves Darnell Mooney on Kool-Aid McKinstry, who has to win over the top, which he does. Now, also, I should say that, once again, if we know that number 2 is for the safety, right? What if there is no number 2? So let's do this. So let's back it up just a little bit, y'all, because this is a lot going on. Let's look at this, okay? Let's say number 2 doesn't get past that certain point. Let's say that certain point is right here, okay? Let's say Kyle Pitts just goes underneath, or he just stays short, okay? That means this guy, let's say number 1 does a dig, okay? Or let's say he does, let's even say he does a post, rather. Let's forget the dig, let's say he does a post. So this safety is supposed to be reading 2-1. So since this guy did not go past that certain point, he has the freedom to go double this guy, because he's already playing from outside leverage, okay? So if we look at this, right, we already know that Darnell Mooney's running a skinny post, but there is no number 2 receiver to hold this guy. So essentially, he's supposed to be bracketing this, but you know why he doesn't bracket it, or he doesn't, get there in time to like really help him? Play action, a convincing play action. And look at that. Now he's able to get up on him while he's backpedaling, and he's able to eat up his cushion right here. And also, it also helps that we hit this out route and this comeback a few times, and we've shown it, just didn't throw it sometimes. And Kool-Aid McKinstry's about thinking, okay, I'm finna send him this. Look, he's ready to break on anything, that's coming out or working back, right? He's sitting on that. And by the time he sits on it, he realizes, oh shit, Darnell Mooney, he's going over the top. And you see that he beats him over the top. Kirk Cousins, look at this, y'all. Look at this footwork, y'all. Look at this footwork. Okay, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my God. Hold on. Where the hitch at? Where the hitch at? Hitch. He took a little small second one. But look, that's a perfect pass. Perfect. Yo, Kirk is getting his swagger back, bro. I swear to God he is, y'all. I believe we can go on a run. I don't know why, but I just feel it in my spirit, y'all. I just feel it. Okay, I don't know if y'all can tell, but the sun has come out outside. It's been raining like all week. But once again, I really do believe like our defense is like turning a corner in a sense of like in terms of pass rush. Like it's becoming like inevitable at this point. And if this offense can just get going, we can beat the Rams, we can beat the Seahawks. I for sure know we can beat the Buccaneers, especially if Baker's gonna be out for a while. Okay, but they've been decimated with injuries anyways. But like the door is open. Like it's a small crack, but it's there, y'all. I swear it is. And it's just a matter of us fixing ourselves, and we can do it. But that is, you know, we got to put it on the field. We got to put it on the field. We got to put it on film. We got to do all of that. So that's, hey, it's up to us. The opportunity is there. We just got to seize it. But if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more because there will be more coming. I'll see you guys like next video. Goodbye.